Okay, so this is for you, Mansoor, Rahim. Um, we commented on an Ampro video for the Turbo Panther. Um, as I was saying, I have two. I got one spare in the mail. It got here a few weeks ago. So I'm gonna lift this one down, and here it is. That's the spare. I took a few pictures of it. Completely, um, well, it wasn't clean. Let's just say that, and a broken housing, which I'm starting trying to fix with no 3D printer. So it's just sticks and plastic tubes and a lot of glue and dedication, and it's a bit off, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I gotta get the wing on it somehow. Um, so your gear was grinding, and this is the weird part. This is why I'm making the video. As I said, I had a spare car because I have two. I want to show them. See if I can't flip the camera. See, there's a red one, original. My first that I bought from a friend like 12, 15 years ago. Didn't really have any RC before that. And then this Black Beauty, which I got, I know, might be seasick from the camera. Don't really know how to do this. This is just on a phone. Anyways, so black and a red one. So the black one I bought off eBay, some guy in France. I paid like, I don't know, 8 euros for it, I guess, and some postage, of course. But I had no remote. There was no box or anything, and I didn't know how to make it run. It was, as it actually says on the box, 26. It was band 1, 26.995 megahertz. But then a few weeks ago, some guy here in Denmark was selling, yeah, this one. You can see it's a custom bumper, homemade. Maybe it's even better in the light, as you can see. It's got rivets everywhere, right? I'm really not good with this camera. I'm very sorry. So that is actually kind of cool. I really like this car. So I took apart on Father's Day. I got a few hours for myself when my wife was tucking in our two girls. So I was just here in my office. I have my own company. I'm an electrician, certified. So I was just here in my office where my RC cars are, and actually I had all of them dismantled, so I could get the other two in the boxes to be as original and pristine as possible. And the funny thing, what happened is that the red one hadn't really been functional. When I first got it, I didn't know how fast it was supposed to run. I found a video on YouTube. Somebody was saying originally 20 kilometers per hour, 25, I think maybe. But mine, I didn't know. I think maybe not even 10. So when a friend of mine wanted to try a LiPo cell, lithium ion poly, I guess, whatever, how we burned down what's left of the motor. So when I got the other one off eBay, I wanted to put the motor over. And I thought, well, then at least the red one is running. But no. And it was just grinding, I guess the same way you're describing yours. So, yeah, so that project sort of stalled. And they were just dismantled in boxes for the past, I guess, maybe 2 years. Until this guy in Denmark wanted to sell his for, well, it was with box, and as you can see, not in a very good shape. It's got a hole here in the front, but we got this, and we got a little tape here and there, but you know, if I don't want to have them one day, this is what people really like. You know, mint in box or whatever. No, they're not mint. These have been used and they're still gonna be used. I have an older brother. He's not technical, but he grew up the same with me. We grew up no money, so it was the much older kids with parents who had money who were driving the F10 Bison and stuff like that. But we had no idea what they were called. We just knew it was Nikko RC. Yeah. Well, anyway, so these are gonna be, all three of them are gonna be used definitely. But of course, we're gonna try and protect them as much. I might even do um, my own bumpers for the other two, so as not to break the original ones. And I don't know, maybe even try and make my own frame. Seeing as now that I've partially built this, which is kind of fun. Very different from standard day-to-day work as electrician, pulling cables and doing outlets and something for lights. But I don't know anything about electronics really. We don't learn that here in Denmark as electrician, but they're going to be played with. Don't you worry, it's not going to be on a shelf. Well, probably going to be positioned on a shelf at some point. Plan is getting a new house in about a year, so might get a different office, and they might be on the shelf, but they're going to be used. That's the idea with everything I have. It is toy, and it's going to be played with even by my girls, even though the oldest one, she is only barely 2.5 years old. But she could drive a Nikko vaporizer about a year ago when she was 14, 15 months old. I think might put that video up on YouTube at some point. Anyways, I'm doing this video, actually. I've been spending 7 minutes trying to establish my connection with my Turbo Panther too. But I was actually trying to give you some hints, maybe what could be wrong with yours. So, yeah, what I did on Father's Day was I took them apart, I changed the motor, I got two brand new motors. I found out what kind of motor they were, the original ones. I didn't get one with a what do they call it, a gear on the shaft. I just got brand new, so I had to hammer out the gear pinion and put that one on the new motor, and then solder the wires and the resistor from the old motor onto the new one. And so I did that on Father's Day. And when I had finally assembled the black and the red in the box, and they were tested and working, which was great, then I had the spare just laying here on my table, and I was actually planning on going to bed since it was 11 at night. But then again, it was annoying just having it there, so at least I could assemble it so it wouldn't be spares laying all over the floor or here, or I would lose stuff. So I assembled it and I greased it. I have what I usually do, constant velocity joints, genuine grease. We use this on actual cars. I don't think it's the kind of grease that Ampro would recommend. I'm pretty sure that all hobbyists with their RC cars, and probably real vintage guys and not me, would recommend something else, but it works great. So I greased everything and put everything back together. I put in batteries. I didn't have a working what do you call it? I didn't have a board, you know. So this is not the original board, which you can probably see because it doesn't look like yours, even though I could guess that yours is not a Turbo Panther 2. But this is just a board from a newer Nikko RC, which does have a newer remote. If this one can focus, so you can see. So I don't have the turbo or normal speed as I do with the two in the box, but when I go forward here, it's the same as when you go on turbo, and let's face it, nobody ever went in normal mode. You go full turbo every time and you go reverse. But then again, I do go faster in reverse than the two in the box. So I guess there's that for having a not original car. So still, we've established that. We haven't done anything yet. I'm gonna be putting you down here because, as you say, you don't really, you can't go into reverse. And I had the same problem. I couldn't go forward with this one, actually. And I know the other one is different, but they finally work, and I really don't want to take them apart. So we're going to take this one apart, and we're going to see how that goes. And then I'm going to show you what I found a few weeks ago. So these are not original screws either. This is a Torx 10, which I have a lot of those screws, apparently, so I save everything when I dismantle something. And apparently I still used original, whatever they call Phillips screws. And yeah, there's really not going to be any cutting in this video. I don't really know how to do that. So this is just going to be one take, maybe even pause it because gotta hammer out the axle later. So see if this is right. All right, here it is. So this is what it looks like on the inside. And since this is a Nikko transmitter, you can always just loosen this one because these fine little pins, they match down on these. All right, so my problem actually, even though this is a much newer remote, when I finally got everything in, I couldn't really go forward. And the problem was actually, probably can't see it, but turn it around. I can't really get it to focus. Well, you can see it on your own. Here is I don't know what we call it in English, but you have like yeah, you have some sort of you have a connection, like a main, and then you have three different. You have a middle section, and then you have backwards and forwards, and there was I don't know, maybe dirt or rust or something. So I guess the easy way to actually test this wouldn't even be to take your remote apart. It was just to be, yeah, my question should have been from the start. Do you see a light when you push your stick forward or backwards? I guess would have been the right way to start. So there's a small light and a light, but I didn't have that. So that might be the reason why you can't go in reverse, because there's no connection here. Because what these small springs are doing is that you're making a connection from the backside, which is the big point, which as an electrician with 230 volts, I would call a phase. And then you have your well, ignition wires. The one goes to something here on the board that tells the signal to send a reverse signal, and the other one to send a forward signal, which would be just like a light switch for me in my daily life. So this one is sort of the light switch connection. But anyways, if you don't see a light when you try to go backwards, then that might actually be it. Sorry if I don't really look into the camera. I'm very new at this. Well, not entirely. I have a whole section with dance videos because I used to teach dance, which I guess I still do, but we've changed the... It's not a dance school. It's more like it's a youth group, or a group with the young kids, a Christian group. So, but now we're gonna do everything. Now I even gonna I'm going to be able to take all of these electronics with us, so we're just going to have different workshops. But yeah, so I have a lot of dance videos here, but this is my first time actually really talking, explaining something. So sorry about that. You're gonna be my first. Actually, I didn't have that one on. I guess I took that off many years ago when I first time dismantled this, and I just found it in a box earlier today. So, and now I really can't get this one on again. Question is why. Oh, there she goes. So, no editing, no mixing, and better get this one back before I forget where everything came from. So, all right, so as I said, that might be the reason why you can't go in reverse. But as I said, I should have asked that first. Do you get a red light on your remote when you go on reverse? See, now my antenna doesn't fit down in this hole because this is not an original antenna. This is just some telescopic antenna from eBay, and it's broken. They're all broken. So I have a few in the mail at some point, I guess. I ordered some weeks ago, but we'll see. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to drill it out, which is not that big of a deal. I've done that before. Don't mind it actually, because, well, the antennas tend to break, and I think they're hard to come by. Anyways, so the next part we're gonna do is, yeah, because when I took everything and I put it back together on Father's Day, I took it here. I got this one back, and put the batteries in, and it worked. There was no grinding sound the way that you described and the way that I had on the red car, because when that gearing here, because that was the wheel. I guess you can't see it there. There you go. Because that gear is worn down, and it was making a terrible noise on the red one, and the red one was sort of moving way back then, 2-3 years ago, and even before then. So this one has the really worn down gear, but they're made out of some, not plastic, but it's made from some sort of a mold. I guess they make aluminum the same way, we use them for spotlights when we have them, or I don't really remember what they call them. I think maybe rims on tires, the old steel ones, or aluminum tires, or whatever they call them, are made the same way. So we're gonna take that one apart now. So I'm gonna pause, and the next time you're gonna see me again, I'm gonna be outside. All right, I'm back. So what we're doing here is, okay, I better get the antenna off before it breaks. All right, so I've set up the axle. I hope you really can see this, because I can't really turn the camera around when it finally got started. But as you can see here, I have 2 batteries, because they're pretty hard. They're really good and they're really strong. And what is going to happen, as you can see, is, hi, my cat, one of them, is, better take the camera again. You're going to take something and put it here. As you can see, right here in the center. And I'm going to put it back. There we go. Now I really don't hope I break anything, because everything is working right now. You do like this, and take a hammer, and that's it. That's how you take apart the rear axle, and I guess as well the front, if you can see those, but I don't really know about those yet. I haven't tried to take those apart, but that's how you take it apart, how you get into it. See, now there's a hole there. I hope you can see it. Lighting, I'm really not a camera guy, but yeah. And actually what happens now is that it sort of just falls out, everything, and yeah, so that's how you get that out, and then you just loosen all the screws and take it apart, and that's it. Then you that's what I was trying to say, because that's what I did. I have the broken gear, switch gear or whatever we call it, in there, but nothing seems to be broken, or it's running now with this one. I'll show you that. I'm not going to take it more apart than that. I don't think there's a need for it unless you're going to ask for it. So I'm just going to be putting this back together, and then I'll show you that it works again. So I'm going to pause, but now you know how to yeah, take the axle out. And when you get the axle out, that's how you finally get into the into the engine room or transmission or whatever they call it. Oh, sorry, I am looking at myself. I'm not looking at you. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's how you get into it, because when you finally loose the screws, you can do that even with the rubber on, or you can try, but at the end you won't be able to get the transmission away from the plastic housing, get it off, unless you do this. You get, I know, unless you get it off. So this was apparently my 25 minute video for me trying to explain how to get the axle off and how to look at the actual remote or transmitter controller. Maybe that's why you can't go in reverse. But yeah, I would just take it apart, take the transmission apart here, and do it a little bit slowly. I mean, take this one off first, and then you take the axle off first, and then you loosen the screws, and then you take it apart, because then you have extra gears in there, and that's how when you do that slowly, you might actually be able to see and remember which way they fit, because I loosened all those screws first on all three cars, and took the axle off afterwards, which means with that bump, my gears were everywhere, so I didn't really see how everything was before. If I had done it the other way, the way I'm telling you to do, so this axle off first and then the screws, then I would have been able to take pictures of everything slowly while doing it, which is how I am able to connect everything again. I take pictures of basically every step of my way when I do stuff like this, but I didn't do that on these transmissions, so it was it was hard work putting it back together again, and I couldn't really find any videos on it, because nobody's doing Turbo Panther through. It's always the Bison, it's not these 116 sizes, it's always the 110 apparently. So yeah, all right, so this is the final thing. Just wanted to show you that it works. Yeah, so I've just found some antenna stick. Doesn't really fit quite well, but you know, it fits quite enough. Oh, goes away. Alright, so I'm really not good at this. I probably should have had a GoPro on my head or something. So I don't really know how people make these kind of videos. Maybe they have an extra person to film these things. Yeah, but the great thing about this was actually last weekend, I think it was, I had my brother, who likes these cars as well, just as much as me, and another friend. So we were three. So we took brand new batteries in remotes and into the cars, and they run the same speed now. We haven't tested them. I'm gonna have to borrow a tester for that from my father-in-law. He used to have those hobby grade cars and planes, and he's been doing everything like that. So he has that pistol, that police type pistol, so you can shoot at it and figure out how fast it goes. But they were running the same speed. The red one with a brand new motor, the the black one with also a brand new motor, and then this one was with its own original motor, which I have no idea how old it is, but this car has seen some use. I mean, the springs are all rusted and everything. So that was the best part, that they were running the same speed on brand new batteries, all of them, especially this spare car with its broken switch gear and everything. But it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna finish the housing for it, and I'm probably gonna paint it silver. I haven't really seen a Turbo Panther in a silver edition, so I'm gonna do a silver one. I think I'm not good at anything like this. This is my first time for it, but I think I want to try something silver, maybe a blue silver gradient up. I don't know. Might make a video for that actually, but now I just did this for you. So my history of the Turbo Panther, and hopefully you found something you could use for getting yours up and running. Or I hope you find a spare car. Yeah, all right.